We have another big parcel today. This right here is the APNX C1, which the company alongside Overclockers graciously sent over. It is available in black or white if you're boring and sensible, but if you're like me, that is boring but not sensible, it's also available in this color scheme. That looks actually so good. These are literally my channel colors. Like, this couldn't be more perfect for me. This is called their Chromaflair variant. It also matches the color scheme of my LG Gram, I think, very, very well. So that's something. Now then, turning it around and, well, that's interesting. There's no thumb screws. How do I take off the side panel? I know I could just look at a manual, but that would feel like a sign of weakness. Do I just, oh, okay, yeah, you just pull a bit harder and then it just comes off. That's an interesting way of doing it. The inside though is looking pretty clean. Now the inside definitely has some interesting elements. I have no idea what this is, but it looks like it's probably some kind of GPU sag bracket, which if that is what it is, it's an interesting choice given how a lot of graphics cards nowadays just come with their own. Another thing I like is, look, 1, 2, 3, 4 pre-installed fans. If you didn't cheap out on that, I'm always saying to case manufacturers, just go all out or not at all, because otherwise it's just a waste of money for fans that people aren't even gonna use. But this is an actual usable setup, and many people may not even need to get any additional fans. Also, I'm sorry, I was just looking at the manual for information about what kind of speed the fans are, and I found out this image showed them installing a Titan card, like one of the old Titans. Now onto the back, which I assume you open the same, what on earth did I just do? That is interesting. I mean, I guess it makes sense because this whole side and front panel are basically just one bit, but how on earth do you take that off then? I don't want to push it too much, but I mean, Okay, so according to the manual, and yes, I was forced to look at a manual, you just take off the top and now you should be able to just slide that off. Okay, so all you're just left with is the internal chassis. That gives you pretty good access to pretty much everything, so let's build a PC. Now for all the features it packs, it is a rather compact mid-tower case, so you won't be getting any eAPX motherboards in there. Okay, there we go, and look at that, my screwdriver even matches this PC case. I want to do like a whole build now, using nothing but just purple and blue parts. Like APNX, Overclockers, whoever's listening, reach out. That would be an awesome project. It apparently supports up to 3 3.5 inch and 2 2.5 inch drives, but I'm yet to really see how. Okay, so according to the manual, you take out this entire panel here and then you mount them on the inside. Is it going to be able to fit a monster like the Dark Power Pro over here from Be Quiet? And the answer is no. The answer is just no, but barely. So I'm so sorry you can't fit in a ginormous PSU that most of you will never ever need into this case. It is truly a big disappointment to us all, I know. But just doing some kind of like quick cable runs here, there is surprisingly a lot of space, because this entire bit here, where that kind of usually very cluttered central channel of your PC case cable management would be, like, you know the one I'm talking about, there's just a giant cutout. So this is one of the few cases where I don't think space at the back for cable management will be any problem at all, despite it still being a mid-tower case. Man, they really hate thumb screws, don't they? They don't have them for the side panels, but they don't even have them for the PCE brackets. Graphics cards wise, I'm of course going for an Intel Arc A770. 1, because that's just what I have spare, but 2, because Intel's entire branding for Arc is also purple and blue, which I like to think that they just stole that color scheme from me. And this card is just barely making contact with a GPU anti-sag bracket. Then you just dress it all back up and boom, you're done. Well, I'm not done. This is a very incomplete build, as you can see, but I'm just trying to prove a point here, okay? The final thing I haven't really touched on is the front I/O. You have 2 USB Type A ports, which are 5 gigabit, a USB Type C port, a combo audio jack, and an RGB button. As the still confusing extinction of the reset button continues, the amount of cases recently covered that just don't have one for some reason is too high. Well, it's only 2, but still, it's way too high. What isn't high is the price of this case, which I was actually pleasantly surprised by. I mean, for its price, it even comes with a fan hub at the back, which manages both the fans themselves and the RGB. Especially considering how much people like Corsair charge for their fan hubs, that's pretty much a steal. I'm not just saying that because they're paying me, okay, because they're not. They literally just sent me the case. And now to prove my point, I'm also going to say that despite how beautiful it is, I'm definitely not switching over to it. just because it doesn't have a optical drive bay. Yes, I love my disk drive so much, and yes, I am that petty. But if you're not ancient like me and you don't need a disk drive, then go ahead, pick it up. Our links to it will be up in the iCards and down in the video description below, where you'll also find a Patreon, which is always a fantastic deal. Plus huge thanks to Gavin Burns, Justin Rage, Ella Ronyak, Dev Panda, Bartosz Volkan, and the pseudonym Meg Sumner, Shane Allcroft, Lansby, and Level Up. But anyway, that's what it is. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then remember to subscribe, like, whatever, and I'll see you all in whatever I make next. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.